On to Daniel. What I've put aside for Daniel's guest doesn't look like much. It's just a box. Now, the box is for creative thinking, and it's not so much what's inside the box as what you think outside the box. So, Daniel, perhaps you could tell us about your guest.
I've brought a man called Saul Bellow, one of the greatest novelists of the 20th century. He was an American. He went into anthropology, but the teacher would say there's too much style in your writing. You need to do something else. So he did something else. He started writing novels. He was married 5 times. He had his last child, a daughter, when he was 84.
Good effort.
He won the Nobel Prize for Literature. I mean, I came to fiction fairly late because one of the problems that I had to overcome with Asperger's syndrome was the ability to get inside somebody else's head. And one of the ways I got around that was by discovering biographies of famous people, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, and realising the power of story, being able to take all those different facts and figures from a whole lifetime and putting them into a sequence that made sense and moved people. One of the things I really like about Bellow is that he was a very autobiographical writer. He used his life in his books. His most famous novel was Herzog, which is about a man, a Jewish intellectual, but really it's about him. And his second wife was having an affair with his best friend. And so what did he do to get his revenge? Well, he wrote this amazing novel. And he made the best friend into a man called Valentine Gersbach. And for some reason he gave him a wooden leg. And he has an amazing line in the novel to describe how this person walks down the street. He says that Gersbach was bending and straightening gracefully like a gondolier.
Oh, that's great.
I really like that line.
Are there a lot of jokes in it?
There are lots of jokes, but I mean, one of the things that makes Bellow so interesting is that he'll be quoting Nietzsche one minute, and then he'll be telling all kinds of jokes the next. And his descriptions are what I find amazing. And one of his books, The Bella Rosa Connection, which is all about a man who dedicates his life to teaching people how to improve their memory. And he realises when he retires, what's he going to do? Because when you get to the end of a career, you want to forget it and move on. If he forgets his old career in memory, he's dead. So there's that contradiction. And in this book, he describes meeting a very obese woman and wonders about the husband. How does he find his way among so many creases?
I just wondered whether all these terribly difficult people he describes, whether he was a kind of tortured individual, because one of my favourite, one of my famous philosophical quotations of all time, Socrates, "The unexamined life is not worth living." And Saul Bellow riposted with, "The examined life can make you want to kill yourself." That's very good.
Exactly. I mean, he analysed the mind, he analysed what it was to be human, and he got his own back on a lot of women because he was married all those times. One of his other quotes was, I think it comes from Shakespeare originally, so I have to give him credit as well. He said, "What do women want? They eat green salad and drink human blood." So he was a bit sexist. I have to criticise him for that.
No, it's a really nice combination, actually.
Since you're in the middle of writing your novel, Daniel, I think this is great advice from Saul Bellow, which he said, you never have to change anything you got up in the middle of the night to write, which I think is extraordinary. So again, says something about the mind, doesn't it? There's something going on, a great hinterland of the mind, which is sort of doing it for you.
Exactly.
So get plenty of sleep.
Yes.
That's great. We'll certainly accept Saul Bellow into the museum in the spirit of openness, but we better keep a close eye on him in case he runs off with another wife or something.